Welcome to the Classy Career Girl podcast. I'm your host, Anna Runyon, founder and CEO of Classy Career Girl, one of Forbes' most influential career sites. This is a podcast for a community of women who want to turn their passions into work they love. You'll learn how to become happy, successful, and balanced with class, skill, and style. We believe that you can create your future. So stop delaying your great life. Go put yourself out there. You can have your great life and career right now. Hello, everyone. I am excited. We get to talk about one of my favorite things today, which is social media and specifically Instagram. But no matter what social media platform you're focusing on this year, you're going to get so much value from today's episode. So we're just going to go behind the scenes. I'm going to tell you how I went from 500 followers to 50,000 Instagram followers. So we've grown it to over 50,000. There's a lot of lessons that I have learned. This was not overnight. Our team has been working really, really hard. We've been posting daily, and I've learned so much, especially over this last year, because Instagram has changed so much. I think I first started on Instagram I remember this, 2014. Early days of Instagram when it was just pictures, right? And like filters and all those things. And so today, Instagram is a huge platform for our business. We're getting a lot of traffic to our website. A lot of people are finding out about us through Instagram. And so it's a really important strategy and social media platform for Classy Career Girl. And I wanted to do a whole episode just all about Instagram. I've been getting a lot of questions about Instagram. And so I'm actually hosting an Instagram planning challenge inside of my class membership for the month of January. So every month we do a masterclass, and so I'm going to do like a whole masterclass and a how-to guide on how to do reels and how to do stories and how to go live and all the things you need to know in 2023 to grow a platform on Instagram. So if you're interested in joining us for the Instagram Planning Challenge, inside of my class membership, just go to classycareergirl.com/start, and you can join for the month of January. You can get that bonus for the Instagram Planning Challenge and then my how-to guide. So in today's episode, I want to talk about my 2023 social media plan. And having a really good social media plan could be the difference between reaching your goals and not. So I highly recommend picking one social media platform. If you've been around Classy Career Girl world for a while, you know that I always recommend just picking one social media platform to start with, conquer it, and then add another one. So this is how I've always grown on all of my platforms. We pick one. There were times a few years ago, it was Pinterest. We picked one, we figured it out, we dove in, we spent a lot of time on that platform until we really started to get things working. And then we branched out into another platform. So today in 2023, like my big platform is Instagram. That is where I'm spending most of my time right now. Because these platforms change so much, you really have to focus on one and learn it. Like even if you started on Instagram in 2021, you need to dive back in and relearn it right now because things have changed. And so the most important thing is that we really want to build an email list from your social media platform. So everything I'm doing on social media, whether it's LinkedIn or Twitter or Facebook groups or wherever I'm spending my time on, my goal is to build a relationship with my audience, build up that know, like, and trust, and then drive that traffic to my list builder, my lead magnets, which is going to grow my email list. And then that way I can email my audience and I'm not relying solely on social media because as we've seen, thank you, Instagram, our engagement has dropped. So you're hearing a lot of people get really frustrated with Instagram right now because it's the truth. It's what's happened. What worked before doesn't work anymore. And they want people to pay to get engagement, to get their content out. So we have to figure out, we have to dive in, we have to learn the platform, we have to test what's working now because things have changed. Reels were not a thing, a couple years ago. And so we have to really figure out how we can build that engagement back up We have to spend time figuring it out, learning, and most importantly, testing every single day, like diving in and determined to figure this out. So, one of the things I put on my affirmations list, like I read affirmations every single morning. And one of the things I say to myself is my audience is growing. My audience is growing organically. My audience is growing organically. And because that's been a big thing for us is we have spent a lot of money in the past on ads. And this year in 2022, we wanted to step back our ads. We completely decreased our ad budget this year and looked at ways where we could organically grow instead. Because I want to stop paying all these social media platforms, right? And so do you. Like, who wants to pay all this money for ads? No one does. And so we really had to dive back in and test and figure out what's working now and stay determined and believe. This was another episode I just recorded as well, is all about believing. I'm believing my audience is growing. I'm believing that people love what I'm posting in my content and I'm helping people and I'm providing value. This is a really important mindset to have for social media. So when it comes to creating your social media plan, that's really the big thing. No matter what platform you're going to dive into, we really have to figure, like, number one, where are your ideal clients hanging out online? If they're not on Instagram, do not get on Instagram. But a lot of you have businesses and your ideal clients are on Instagram. So it's a good place to be right now. Where are they hanging out online? What is like the last thing they're looking at before bed? And then number two, which promotional channels and social media platforms do you feel drawn towards? So for me, I really do feel drawn towards Instagram. I actually really love it. I love creating content. I love images. I love text. I love writing. And Instagram for me is a really good place now that I've figured it out, where I can write words and take pictures and even video content, like B-roll, some videos that we took. Even we just went on a trip to Spain, and we can use the content in our daily lives that we're capturing and put words on videos. And that is like I'm getting super excited testing things on Instagram. And I'm definitely drawn towards the creative part of Instagram and what people are doing on there and how it can provide value to you. So figure that out. Number two, that's really important. Like, what social media platform are you drawn towards? Because you're about to dive in and spend a lot of time there. And then number three, which channels do you feel overwhelmed and unexcited about? One of the platforms coming up in Q2 of 2023, we're going to do a whole training inside of class membership about LinkedIn. And so I'm going to dive in because I know LinkedIn is a really good strategy to have right now, but for some reason, I'm just feeling unexcited about it. I think it's because I have lots of spam messages in my LinkedIn inbox, and it's not as creative, it's not as visual, right? So it's my number two platform, but I'm not as excited about it. So you got to figure out what is fulfilling to you when it comes to social media. And then number four, the social media platform that you're going to commit to and make a priority to learn about is what? Like, what social media platform? You have to make that commitment. You have to make it a priority. It's not just going to grow on its own. You got to commit to the time it takes to create content and to learn from your analytics and to test and to engage as well. And so number five, this is really important. How are you going to attract and engage fans on this platform? A lot of people think, I'm just going to post a photo and people are just going to come and comment and follow me. And that's just not the case. So the really good thing about Instagram is they've really leveled the playing field. So if you are just starting on Instagram, you can have some posts go viral, even if you have like no followers. So know that like there's so much opportunity on Instagram right now. You don't have to have hundreds of thousands of followers to get your stuff out to people. But it does require you to start to engage and attract. And like in the early days, I was spending like 30 minutes a day commenting and liking other people's posts. And we try and do this every week as well. It's not just about posting content, which is what most people think of Instagram, but it's also, you got to treat it like a networking event. You got to go out there, you got to find people, you got to engage, you got to comment on their posts. And engaging, treating it as that networking party. You can't just post and be done. Also, when people comment on your posts, you got to engage with them too. Like, we got to show Instagram, like, people like my content and I'm engaging with them. We got to learn what works and what doesn't, with all the new changes that have been happening. Like I said, everyone's getting frustrated with Instagram. What worked before doesn't work anymore. And so that's why I want to come out with all this new training on Instagram. We now, we don't post any photos anymore. Just one photo. That used to be what we would do. We don't do that ever anymore. Now we do two types of posts. We do reels and we do carousels. A year ago we were doing IGTVs. That's not a thing anymore. So we don't do that anymore. And so if you want to grow your business with a social media platform, you have to put that time in and learn. What works for others might not work for you as well. So a great example of this for Instagram, everyone's saying like you need to put your face on camera and you need to, make fun videos, real videos, and point to things and dance. That's what everyone's doing. I'm not doing that. I will say the reels of my face do not work as well. They do not get as much engagement and reach than the videos and reels I put together, where I'm just providing helpful tips and strategies and advice, like 10 tips for waking up earlier or 13 mistakes business owners make. Like all these things I put up, just providing value. They're actually from old blog post content. So I actually know that they're popular blog posts, and I just put them into a reel or a carousel. Those work so much better. So the list, the values, the strategies, and it just kind of goes back to like, how can I help my audience? So I do try and put some face to camera up there. I just know that I'm not going to spend a day recording face to camera videos because it just doesn't work. So even though someone might be telling you that that works for them, that's why you have to post every day and challenge yourself to post every day so you can see what works best for you, what reels did the best, what carousel post did the best. I won't post just a plain picture anymore. It's not going to do well. So what we're going to do in our Instagram planning challenge, it's going to be like an Instagram planning challenge and a posting challenge. So what we're going to do inside of my membership in the month of January's training class is we're going to go through 5 days of challenges and 5 days of posts. So I kind of want to I'm going to kind of high level go through what the 5 days are, so you can start to learn the strategy of Instagram. So the first strategy of Instagram is all about planning your time. You guys know we're all about planners here. So we really want to help you batch your time on Instagram, not waste time, and focus on creating more instead of consuming. So if you are just like watching on Instagram, watching what other people are doing, we want to kind of break that habit. And we want to start having you create more. And this all goes back to how can you help people more? How can you serve people more? And how can we not waste your time? So we're starting to batch, like even just last night, it's the end of December. I'm getting ready for the holidays. I'm trying to, tomorrow's my last day of work. And so I batched all of my content. I scheduled my content on Instagram from December, let's see, what day? It's December 20th to December 31st. So I am taking time off. I don't want to be addicted to Instagram. I can check it here and there, but the actual part of like creating the content is what's really important to do batched ahead of time, because for an hour last night, I was just focused on creating content and I didn't have to like interrupt my day creating content. I was just in the creating content for Instagram mode, and I just scheduled all those posts. So every day, besides on Christmas, I kind of skipped over that. I'll post something else of my family on those days. But then every day through New Year's, there's going to be some helpful, valuable content going out to my audience. So I know that my engagement is going to continue and my growth is going to continue. So that's the first thing we do in our Instagram planning challenge is we plan your time. The second thing is we plan your brand. We want you to stand out from your competition. And so we really want to think like, how do you want people to feel when they see your content? So we really want them, like anytime there's a post that kind of goes up, they're like, oh, this is a Classy Career Girl post, right? Like I know this is on brand. This is how I feel when I look at these posts. And so we really want to figure out what that brand is on Instagram so it matches the third challenge, part of our challenge, was just planning your bio, which is, that kind of your elevator pitch right when they land on your account. If you have someone brand new landing on your Instagram account, what is that first thing that they're going to see? What does it tell them? What are those top posts? Because now you can pin posts. Your first 3 posts can be pinned. What is that telling them? Because we want people to follow you. So from that very first glance of your profile, we want to communicate your brand, and we want someone to feel like, oh, this is the right place for me. So we're going to do that on day 3. Day 4 is all about planning your content. So if you're going to post 5 days a week, so let's say you post Monday through Friday, we want to figure out your calendar. So every Monday you post something, every Tuesday you post a certain type of content, every Wednesday you post a certain type of content. And we really have to figure out, like, what does your audience need to see before they purchase from you? And then we have these cycles every single week where we're continually telling them those things that they need to see every Monday through Friday that are going to help them. So when you do create your offer, when you do sell something, they already know, like, and trust you. And then the 5th day of our challenge is all about planning your engagement strategy. So this is really important. We're not just going to be posting, but we're going to treat this as like a networking party, right? We're going to go out there and find your people. So those are the 5 days. Those are the 5 kind of really important steps of growing on Instagram that we're going to do in our Instagram planning challenge inside of our membership in January. I also want to share my 2023 social media strategy. And by the way, those 5 things are what I did to go from the 500 followers to the 50,000 followers. So this Instagram planning challenge is really what I do on a monthly basis, diving in, staying consistent, seeing how Instagram has changed. I'm always reevaluating my time. I'm always reevaluating my brand. My bio is always changing. And my content is always changing, kind of understanding, like, what does my audience need to see before I buy based off the launches that I'm doing behind the scenes in my business. And then what's working as far as engagement. So every morning I'm looking at my engagement. I'm looking at my reach. My goal is to get to that 10% engagement at all times. And that's how I know that my Instagram's doing well. And so those are the strategies. Like, if you just rinse and repeat those 5 days and you continually are looking back on your Instagram planning challenge and doing the posts that we recommend, you are going to grow on Instagram. So I've already told you my 2023 social media strategy is Instagram. I want to share with you a list building tool. So we've talked about how to grow your followers, but the most important thing is you're turning those followers into your email list, and you're growing your email list. So even though the title of this is about growing your followers, just know that's the first goal. The second goal is growing your email list. And a tool that we've been using is called ManyChat. And you definitely want to look into this. I think it's like $20 a month, but it's so worth it. So this is how we've kind of decreased our ad expense. And now we're growing organically on Instagram and our email list, kind of both at once, through using ManyChat. So what ManyChat is, it's an automated chat platform that will message our followers certain links that they're interested in. So you've probably seen this if you've seen me on Instagram. You've noticed, especially now as we're gearing up for the new year, I will give value. I will do a list, a strategy, something that's going to help my audience, give a story, something that's going to benefit them, provide value. And then at the end, I say, comment plan if you want my free 90-day planning workbook. And then people are posting plan. Like, I just had one that is going viral right now as we speak. People are just commenting plan, like all morning long. And that's because when they comment plan, I can record this podcast. I don't need to be sending them back anything, because ManyChat is doing that. So when we have it set up, so when someone says plan in a comment or in an Instagram story back to me, that it will automatically send them the link to my free 90-day planner. And so then they get that link in their messages. They can go download my free 90-day planner, and they're on my email list. And so this is a big strategy we've been using at the end of 2022 that's been growing your email list organically. And this does 2 things. It's growing your email list, it's getting them that link, it's getting them to opt in, but then it's also showing Instagram that my stuff is popular because it's increasing our engagement. And so Instagram's actually showing it to more people because we're getting comments, we're replying back to those comments, and then we're getting in people's direct messages. And so they're more likely, if they've gotten a direct message from us, if they've responded, thank you, they're more likely to see my future content. So it's working wonderfully. I highly recommend it. And also, if you're doing any sort of sale, like when we're in an open cart period as well, you can just say, like when our certification was open, I just said comment coach, and I would just send them directly to the application for our certification program. And we got a lot of people interested in that program through Instagram as well, all organic. So the other part you want to think about for 2023 for me is I'm thinking about like what content is doing best. And for us, it's those two posts. It's reels and it's carousel posts. So we don't post any other content. We just do reels and carousels all day long. We also do stories. So every morning, kind of part of my morning routine is to share an image that I'm thankful for in my stories. And so I'm treating that as like my gratitude journal every morning, is just sharing an image. And so I'm documenting what's going on in my life. Usually it's something from like the day before, something personal in my life, something I'm thankful for. And then I'm also sharing those reels and those carousels. And I'm also trying to do a poll or a question every single day. Because we want our audience to be engaging with us. So whether it's commenting on a post or it's, answering a question or answering a poll, this is telling Instagram that people want to see our stuff. I'm also recycling content. So that's part of reposting content, posting content every single day, seeing what does well, and then turning it into, so if I created a reel and it did well, then I'll turn that content into a carousel post. Or if a carousel did well, I'll turn that into a reel. If I'm exhausted at night, I will repost something that did well before if I haven't scheduled it out. But I've been really trying to schedule things out. You can't schedule reels, but you can schedule carousels. And like I said before, my goal is engagement of 10% of followers on Instagram and then growing my email list organically. I'm also doing a weekly podcast. As you can tell, on Mondays, we release our weekly podcast. And so that's my content. I always recommend for all of my clients that every single week you provide some sort of long form content, whether that's a blog post, a podcast, a video, a Facebook Live, an IG Live. Those would be all of those things that I would recommend once per week. So I'm doing what I teach you all to do. That is my thing. Every week releasing the podcast and then growing my email list through Instagram. And my second social media platform I'll be focusing on in Q2 is LinkedIn. So I hope you join us for the Instagram Planning Challenge. Head on over to classycareergirl.com/start and join class membership. You can join us inside. We've added so many new things for 2023. So check out that page. You might see some new surprises, some new benefits of being a class member for 2023. And I will see you inside. If you want to find a job or business you love that supports the life you really want, you are invited to my membership class, the Love Your Work and Life System. Inside of class, you are going to get support and coaching so you can make money doing what you love. Whether you're job searching or growing your own business, I'll guide you through a success path full of step-by-step guides and tools to help you implement and make progress to take you from work you have to do to work you love to do. It's time to have a career business you love that supports the life you really want. Go to www.classycareergirl.com/start to get started.